GU Self-Storage, conveniently located near the Harmon McDonald's, offers fully covered loading and unloading area with individual pin-coded gate and door access. Call us today at 648-7867 for more information.
Happy day, everybody, and thank you for starting your day as always the KUAM way. I'm Jason Salas, along with my good buddy Sergeant Paul Tapao with the Guam Police Department. And you know what we do here on Crime Time each and every Wednesday. We want to bring you a little slice of home no matter where you are streaming us from. And Paul, this is an area right now of Mangilao, 1,000 steps, otherwise technically known as Fidian Point. We have been coming here a lot lately because this was the scene of the crime at that very horrific shooting. You and I have been covering this event for, it seems like almost like a week and a half now. Where are we right now as far as, you put out that public call for information and everything like that? How's that going?
Okay, so we've been getting some information about this investigation. So just to recap and just to refresh, because the beautiful thing about this partnership is that we are using this as a platform to convey the message again to the community, and hopefully we can stir up more information as it helps us with this investigation. So real quick, on the morning hours of Wednesday, November 13th, okay, the victim, along with her passenger, were motoring along Route 15. Now, we do know for a fact that they came out from Route 26, the intersection of Mechechi Avenue and Route 26. They made a right and they were coming towards this way, towards the 1,000 Steps. Now, what had happened was an unknown vehicle was traveling behind them, and of course, shots rang out and everything. And, it's unfortunate that the victim, the 27-year-old female, was actually struck by she received the injuries, of course, as a result of the shooting, and had to be transported to Guam Memorial Hospital. But we are asking anybody that lives within this area or who may be traversing within this roadway, if they've seen something, if they saw something, if they heard something, if they have any suspicion of what might have happened, to please give us a call. Call the Guam Police Department dispatchers, or utilize the Guam Crime Stoppers P3 tip software by submitting a tip anonymously through that line. And it really is, again, our investigators are working, they're doing their due diligence and bringing closure to this case. But just to really bring the community's awareness, this strip of road, as you can see, the lighting, it illuminates that side of the traffic. So we know that there was light that was provided within that area. It's not the best light, but it's some sort of light. And we do know for a fact that the victim and the perpetrator were traveling towards Mangilao side. So they came up from Mechechi, they made a right onto Route 15, and from the strip on down towards the 1,000 Steps, that's where, trying to pinpoint exactly where, but we're assuming it's within this strip of road.
And we've been talking about this for the past, maybe 10 days now since Chris Barnett first broke the story. There is no type of information which is too, as people tend to say, too insignificant, too silly, too vague, too abstract and everything. Because you were stressing when we did our Crime Stoppers segment the other day, at KUAM in the Harmon Studios, you were like, even if somebody said they think they heard something, even if you believe, if you say, oh, I think I heard something that might sound like a gunshot, and then the officers might say, well, what did the gunshot say? You may say it sounded like clap, 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 or pop, or boom, something like that. Your investigators can actually, your ballistic experts can actually take that, perhaps correlate that with a weapon that may be registered, and then that's investigative work right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's invaluable.
Yeah, absolutely. The day when daylight broke and everything, we actually did close off this entire strip of road, and we had our officers actually canvassing the area, trying to retrieve any shell casings, any type of evidence that may be utilized in this investigation. So you can see the tedious work in which our detectives had to go through just to really put some information that they can utilize based on what the testimony from the victim and the witness, based on evidence from the vehicle, and of course based on any evidence that was gathered. These are information, these are scientific evidence, these are evidence in which we use for investigation. But the eyewitness account, just the bystanders who may have seen something strange or unusual, these are the ones that we will actually bring that piece that we need to help put everything back together. Or this may be the information that breaks the case for us and provides us with the leads and the direction of where we're going.
And speaking of that, Chris Barnett did another follow-up story, and he actually talked to the cousin of the victim, and to the best of her recollection, she was saying as many as 6 shots may have rung out. So that again is good information.
It is, and to hear one or one or two shot or the volleys, the timing of the volley, it pretty much just shows that it's, they may be shooting in the air, they may be shooting at maybe a wild animal and everything, but to hear that constant, the repetition of the volleys of what they heard, then that gives us an understanding. And of course, the residents along this area, motorists who are traversing to this area, may actually be caught their attention and may have actually turned, may have got a glance of maybe the vehicle, may have got a glance of the individuals, or may have got a glance of the incident that was happening. So, the volley in itself of when the gunshots rang out, it's important where, anybody who may have heard it or may have seen something, this is where we ask them to please provide that information to the Guam Police Department or the Guam Crime Stoppers.
Okay, now you've obviously had firearms training for going on 2 decades. You've been dealing with, various types of sidearms. I'm sure, you're qualified in rifles, riot guns, and everything like that. Each of those weapons has a very distinct sound,
yes,
and a signature and everything that can definitely help you. And again, you're the PIO right now. I know you worked in highway before, but you actually have sharpshooters, you have ballistics experts, as I said, and everything. These are people who day and night are experts in that kind of work.
Yeah, we have officers that sleep with their firearms, because they're so attached to it and everything, and it becomes part of their passion. And
they know the recoil as soon as they hear it.
Absolutely, and it's also thought in they actually teach this when an active shooter and how to identify the different calibers and everything. So understanding where we are now with ballistics and understanding the different calibers and what we're looking at, these are things in which we as a community, these are things that are out of the ordinary, that are unusual, that may have, hey, you know what, I've never heard that before, I've never seen them before, I've never, it really just drew the attention. This is the one that we need. This, like I said, this is the type of information that may break the case and lead us to where we need to go.
Yeah, neighbors around here would say, okay, I heard something weird that night. I know for a fact it wasn't a rooster, it wasn't a dog, it wasn't somebody walking around here calling his cousin and everything like that. And that sounded completely out of the ordinary because I live here, this is my home. This is all I have to give you, but that's still valuable information.
Absolutely, and you did mention that we've been covering this for the last weekend and a half, and it's important that we maintain this coverage because of the fact that you may really, like I said, may take days, may take 2-3 days, but even a week just to say, you know what, I do remember that. I was going this way. I was headed towards Anderson Air Force Base, or I was headed towards the intersection of Route 26, and I do remember that. I saw this, or you may have just been, out and about and not really thinking about what was going on, but you were there. You're pinpointing the date, which is a Wednesday, November 13th, around between the hours of 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock. If you were in this strip, if you were traversing up and down, headed towards Anderson or headed to Mangilao, and you saw something that was unusual, this is the type of information that we want. And I want to stress that because we get so tunnel vision that, we're focusing on driving our vehicle, maintaining control, and just looking straight ahead. But when something catches your attention and you look the other way and you see something, at that moment, we call it the matrix moment. At that moment, everything slows down. Mm-hmm. And, like I said, it may not come back to you within that day or two, but maybe within the week. And this is why it's important that we work closely with our media partners and we utilize this opportunity with KUM and CrimeTime in bringing this back to the community so that we can actually get information from within the community.
Okay, and then finally, we'll conclude on this point. What time of day was it again? Because now we know the venue, we know the when, the where. What time of day was this?
So this was between the hours of 1 o'clock in the morning to 2 o'clock in the morning. We're using that time frame. Mm-hmm. So we've actually shortened out the time frame from to within an hour. This is the strip. Look closely at the strip. But again, the lighting and everything. We have street lamps that are situated along this direction of traffic, westbound flow of traffic. So this may aid us, may have aided the individuals who are traveling in this roadway to maybe have seen something. So, color, make, model, and vehicle, it's important. Never mind about the license plate. If you can give us a description of a car that you may have seen that day, that's something which we can go by.
All right, Sarge, we appreciate it.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
All right, good to see you. He's a good man, everybody, and he is one of many men and women in the Guam Police Department that are working tirelessly around the clock to solve this case. But your information is really, really critical. So if you have any sort of info whatsoever, again, nothing is too silly, nothing is too vague, or nothing is too inconsequential. Please come forward. What's that number once again?
Okay, so you can call our dispatchers at 472-8911 or 475-8615 through 7. or you can submit a tip anonymously to the Guam Crime Stoppers tip line at guam.crimestoppersweb.com. And I assure you guys that any information you provide will remain completely anonymous. So this is a great opportunity in which the community can help somebody that's really, you know, the victim in itself. We got to help. You know, this is our opportunity as fellow Guamanians to help our fellow Guamanians out.
All right, so that was Crime Time for this week. Thanks for starting your day the KWM way as always. Let's get this crime solved. We'll see you guys next time.